I got my slippers. 1, 2, I got my water. Here it is, it's time for story time. And here's an otter. My name is Jerry. Got my slippers. 1, 2, I got my water. Here it is, it's time for story time. And here's an otter. Hey guys! It's so nice to be here. Good otter. Oh, white. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Okay, what was I going to say there? I don't even know. Let's sing I'm Here to Say. By the way, welcome to Storytime. I'm so glad that you're here. My name is Jason, and we're going to sing some songs and read a story. One story, because it's a long one. Hopefully not too long. I didn't time it ahead of time. This is my new song. Good morning, how are you today? I'm hoping things will go the way you like. But if they don't, I know it'll be hard. But you'll be alright. When the sun is shining, I'm happy. When it's cold and gray, I'm blue. Some days I don't know how I feel at all. But as long as I'm here, I promise I'll catch you whenever you fall. The only thing that doesn't change is that things will always change. We can't see what's right around the bend. Sometimes it is easy when it gets too hard to make it through by leaning on a friend. And if you need one, I'll be your friend. Say, good morning, how are you today? I'm hoping things will go the way you like. But if you don't, I know it'll be hard. You'll be alright. I'm your friend, and I know you'll be alright. Very nice. Lovely singing. Let's do our stretches, shall we? Reach up to the sky. Oh! Reach out in front of you. Reach out behind you. Out to the side. Over this way. And 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 shake him out. Shake him high. Shake him low. Shake him high. Shake 'em low, shake 'em high, shake 'em low. Pat your belly, pat your head in your belly, pat your belly in your head. Pat your other head, pat your other belly. Stick out your tongue. All right. We're going to get right to the story first because it's a little bit longer. So, let's go to the story chair. Oh no, I'm trying to get to the story chair, but I'm not going anywhere. What on earth is going on? I must be caught in some kind of a time loop. Whew, I made it. That was a close one. I almost, am I too close? I think I might be too close. I almost got stuck forever in a time loop. So it's a good thing that didn't happen. I'm going to try something I haven't tried before, just because this is a long story, but it's a very important story. So I'm going to break it up into 2 parts with the song in the middle. So hopefully that will work. This is called Sit In, How 4 Friends Stood Up by Sitting Down by Andrea Davis Pinkney. The words were by Andrea Davis Pinkney, and it was illustrated by Brian Pinkney. This is a very important story. We must meet hate with love. These were Dr. Martin Luther King Jr.'s words that got them started. 4 hungry friends, eager to eat. Each took a seat at the Woolworth's lunch counter in Greensboro, North Carolina. David, Joseph, Franklin, and Ezell sat quiet and still, with hearts full of hope. With Dr. King's words strong and close, they were college students with a plan. It was February 1st, 1960. It's a long time ago. They didn't need menus. Their order was simple: a donut and coffee with cream on the side. Woolworth's was busy, so the friends waited, patiently, silently, without a fuss. They were the only black kids at the counter. David, Joseph, Franklin, and Ezell sat while everyone else got served. At first, they were treated like the hole in the donut, invisible. Others tried to ignore them. The waitress watched and refused them. This was a sign of the time. Whites only. This was the law's recipe for segregation. What does that mean? Segregation means to separate things, and they were separating white people from black people. Its instructions were easy to follow. Oh, see? Do not combine white people with black people. Segregation was a bitter mix. Now it was the friends' turn to ignore and refuse. They ignored the law and refused to leave until they were served. Those kids had a recipe too, a new brew called integration. It was just as simple. Combine black with white to make sweet justice. For them, integration was better than any chef's special. Integration was finer than homemade cake. Integration was a recipe that would take time. So David, Joseph, Franklin, and Ezell sat quiet and still with hearts full of hope, with Dr. King's words strong and close. Be loving enough to absorb evil. They sat straight and proud and waited and wanted a donut and coffee with cream on the side. After sitting and waiting and wanting, a police officer came, but the 4 friends wouldn't leave. The police officer didn't know what to do. The students were doing nothing wrong. No crime in sitting, no harm in being quiet, no danger in looking hungry. The officer left the lunch counter without doing anything. The Woolworth's man turned off the lights. He announced, "Woolworth's is closed." So the customers left, including the 4 friends, who went home to dinner, where they were served first. News had already spread about the sit-in. David, Joseph, Franklin, and Ezell got their names in the paper. The next day, February 2nd, 1960, more students showed up at the lunch counter. Sitting still for what was right. No reservations needed at Woolworth's. The students seated themselves. They were dressed in their best clothes. They were polite and determined. Determined means they were prepared to do what they needed to do to accomplish their goal. No guesswork for the waitress. The young people knew the menu by heart. They ordered. No food came. So they sat in silence and waited and wanted a donut and coffee with cream on the side. The waitress reminded them, whites only. But those kids wouldn't budge. They didn't move until they were served. They refused. All they wanted was some food, a donut and coffee with cream on the side. To pass the time, the students read their school books. They wrote in their journals. They finished their homework. They didn't need to read the menu. So they studied for tomorrow's test. And then we're going to come back. We're going to sing a song. So back to the song chair. Because, you know, it takes concentration to pay attention to a story. So we're going to jump around. And then we're going to read the rest of the story. So hopefully that will work. We're going to do deep and wide. So that's a good one for jumping around. First you go like this, up and down. That means deep. And out to the side like that. And that means wide. Once again, up and down is deep. And that means wide. And when I say fountain, you go like this. Whoosh. Fountain. Whoosh. Now this song is a good one to sing with the story because the fountain can talk about a real fountain that water comes out of. Whoosh. But the fountain can also talk about feeling strong on the inside. You know how when you drink water, it makes you feel good and it makes you feel strong and it gives your body what you need? And you know how when you do the right thing, it makes you feel strong and it makes you feel good because it gives your heart what it needs. And so that's why sometimes people compare water with strength that comes from the inside and happiness that comes from the inside. Because when we have that happiness, just like we have the water, it makes us feel good and strong and like we can do anything. Because it's just what the water is what our body needs, and doing good things for ourselves and for other people is what our heart needs. So when we talk about there being a fountain that flows deep and wide, we're also talking about a fountain like water that's inside of us, like that thing that's inside of us that makes us want to do what's good and what's right. And that's what these guys had at the counter, and why they were able to sit there for such a long time and to be calm and to be still and to not get violent or upset, because they had water for their heart inside of them that helped them to not have to feel thirsty when they're sitting at the counter. And I know that doesn't completely make sense, but I guess the way that I can summarize it is by saying, just like your body needs water, your heart needs you to do what feels right for you and for other people. So wrestle with that a little while. All right, here we go. So deep, up and down, like this, and wide, side to side, and fountain, whoosh, like that. Because it feels like that, right? Like you ever run and jump and play in a fountain? You know how fun that is? Doesn't it also feel really fun when you do something that's really good and it makes you feel really good inside? So, I don't know, maybe you can make a comparison there. But it's okay if you can't. It's okay. Just kind of let it sink in there, and it'll make sense eventually. All right, here we go. Ready? Deep, up and down and wide, side to side. Deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide. Deep and wide, deep and wide, there's a fountain flowing deep and wide, wide and deep, wide and flowing wide and deep. Wide and deep. Wide and deep. There's a fountain flowing wide and deep. All right, you know what time it is now? Do you? It's water time! Water time. All right, back to the story chair for part 2 of our book. I didn't get stuck any time loops that time. That was great. Excuse me, my goodness. So, once again, we are reading the book Sit In, How 4 Friends Stood Up by Sitting Down by Andrea Davis Pinkney and Brian Pinkney. So you remember, these 4 friends were sitting at the counter and all they wanted was a donut and some coffee. But because the law said that white people and black people couldn't be served together, they were not being served. But they sat there anyway because they believed that they should be treated just like everybody else, and they were right. What had started in Greensboro spread faster than a grease fire. There were lunch counter protests in Hampton, Virginia, Nashville, Tennessee, Montgomery, Alabama, Atlanta, Georgia, and many other southern towns. If lunch counters could go from whites only to all welcome, if segregation could turn into integration, if black people and white people could break bread together, everyone would pass the test. Everyone would score high, A+, with that coffee and cream on the side. But many folks were not motivated to make that grade. As the sit-ins grew, angry people gave the students a big dose of hatred, served up hot and heaping, coffee poured down their backs, milkshakes flung in their faces, pepper thrown in their eyes, ketchup not on the fries, but dumped on their heads. They yelled at the students, "We don't serve your kind! Go home! Goodbye!" The students wanted to lash out, but couldn't. They wanted to strike back, but didn't. Sitting still was so hard. And you guys all know that too, don't you? Practicing peace, while others showed hatred, was tougher than any school test. Now there were news cameras filming the sit-ins, and viewers at home watching it all on TV. The students were more determined than ever to show the world the true meaning of peace. So they sat in silence with hearts full of hope. With Dr. King's dream true and close, these were the words that kept them going. We must meet violence with non-violence. And you understand violence, like when you get mad and you want to hit somebody, that's violence. But if you say, no, I'm not going to hit somebody, that's non-violence. It's that simple. The students sat proud and still and waited and wanted a donut and coffee with cream on the side. Soon the sit-ins grew bigger and wider. White students joined their black friends to protest the unfair treatment by restaurant owners who would not serve food to black patrons. They also opposed segregated, which remember means separating blacks and whites, libraries, buses, parks, and pools. With so many students gathered, people got scared there would be fighting. They were afraid of all those youngsters grouped together for a cause. Even though the students were committed to peace, the police now took action. They accused the students of loafing, which means like just hanging around, not doing anything, and causing trouble. They arrested them. They took them to jail. The students didn't resist. They didn't fight. Was it fair that they got taken to jail? But still, they were peaceful. Instead, they sang freedom songs to keep the peace. They held Dr. King's words steady and close. Demonstrate calm dignity. Some folks were so busy arguing about who was right and who was wrong that they stopped going to Woolworths and other segregated places. Some shops were forced to integrate to keep their businesses alive, but the struggle was far from over. In April, an activist named Ella Baker organized a student leadership conference at Shaw University in North Carolina to help the young demonstrators. With Ella, the students formed the Student Nonviolent Coordinating Committee, the SNCC. Inspired by Dr. King, they came up with powerful words of their own. These are the words that became the SNCC slogan. We are all leaders. And that means you too. That means that no matter how big you are or small you are, no matter how old you are or how young you are, you can show people how to do what's right by doing what's right yourself. And that's how you can be a leader. When President John F. Kennedy got a taste of SNCC's integration, he didn't sit in, he stepped in. On June 11, 1963, the president went on TV. He urged Americans to treat each other fairly. Then he told Congress to take action against segregation. This became the Civil Rights Act of 1964. On July 2, 1964, President Lyndon B. Johnson made the act a law. It banned, which means it was not allowed, segregation, remember, separating black and white, in public places. The hard work and courage of those brave students paid off. They had taken a bite out of segregation. Now it was the time to savor equality. Now they were ready for a big sip of freedom. Their order was simple. A double dose of peace with nonviolence on top. Hold the hate, leave off the injustice. Now the students had the right recipe for integration. The steps were easy to follow. Start with love. Add conviction. Conviction means really believing that what you're doing is right. Season with hope. Extra faith to flavor. Mix black people with white people. Let unity stand. Fold in change. Sprinkle with dignity. Dignity means that everyone should be treated like they are important, or like they are worth something, or like they are valuable. Like think of your favorite stuffed animal, how much you love that stuffed animal. Everybody should be treated like they are a precious stuffed animal. That's what dignity means. Bake until golden, serve immediately, makes enough for all. After weeks of sitting, when their backsides ached, after months of being still when their feet fell asleep, after years of praying for laws to change, when they were so hungry for equality, the young people finally got what they ordered. It was worth the wait. It was served to them exactly how they wanted. Well done. And oh, integration sure tasted good. Those courageous young people enjoyed every bit. They came back to Woolworth for seconds and thirds and for many helpings after that. I don't know if you can see that. When the sit-ins were all done, the students left a big tip. A donut and coffee with cream on the side is not about food, it's about pride. These were the words that filled them up. And that's just more information if you ever want to check out this book about what happened during that time. So lots of other words there, and you may be aware that people are talking about this kind of thing right now too, because even though we have made a lot of changes to help black people and white people and all people who are all different colors to feel more accepted and more equal, we're still not all the way there yet. And so it's up to all of us to pay attention, and whenever we see people not being treated fairly or equally, wherever you are, whoever you're with, you can be a leader, and you can say something, and you can do something. And that's kind of like that water, the fountain inside. That's where you get the strength to do that, is that fountain inside of you. Because you know that you are valuable, that you are precious, that you are important. And because you know that, you can help other people to feel like that too. And if you don't, I'm telling you that you are. That you are special, and you are important, and you are precious, and you are valuable, more valuable than any favorite stuffed animal anywhere in the whole world. And don't ever forget it. All right. Oh boy. I don't even know if we have time for another song. Let's see. Go back. I think we can do a short song. What should we do? How about oh, you know, let's just do Jim Gill. Jumping and Counting by Jim Gill. Really fast, here we go. Jump, jump, jumping, jumping, now are we. We'll stop jumping until we count to 3. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Jump, jump, jumping, jumping even more. We'll stop jumping until we count to 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Jump, jump, jumping, just like pogo sticks. We'll stop jumping until we count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Jump, jump, jumping, jumping once again. We'll stop jumping until we count to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Jump, 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 jump. Thank you for joining me today. Check out our other videos. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Be kind to yourself. Be kind to other people. Watch our videos, and I'll see you next time.